Hello stamping friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Lorri Heiling and I'm anxious to share with you another stamping project, but I wanted to remind you that today the big sale starts, so the last chance items are discounted. Not all of them, but many of them, so you're going to want to check that out. You can just go to my website, and if you use the host code plus your order is $50 or more, I will send you a little gift in the mail along with a thank you card as my way of saying thank you so much for your order. Well, let's get started with today's project. We are using some paper that will soon be no longer available. It's not the black that I'm going to start out with. This is a piece of black cardstock, and it measures 8.5 by 5.5 inches, and I scored it in half at the 4 1/4 mark. Now we're just going to fold this on the score line and give it a nice crease with your bone folder. And the next layer is going to be one of my favorites, Coastal Cabana. You can see my nails match this card. I love this paper, or this color, I should say. And we have a couple in colors that are coming out that are very similar to this. One is a little bit lighter and one is a little bit darker. So I was thrilled to see that addition. And I think for this one, we're just going to do this one flat. So I'm going to grab that glue dispenser that I showed you last video I did, and you can find the link to this because I am an affiliate, and this is put out by My Sweet Petunia, and you can order those there. I really like mine, and I use it almost every time I stamp because the end doesn't get clogged up, but I am, as soon as that bottle's empty, I'm going to go back to my green glue and stick that in there. All right, so this is going to be our card base, and we're going to set that aside. Now the next thing, it's a little bit tricky. It's kind of like an optical illusion, but what you're going to do is take basic white cardstock. You can use thick or regular. And I don't know if you can see, I put a couple of pencil dots on here. It won't matter, but I had to figure out how to do this. I saw this card online. Unfortunately, there's not a link, and I could not find the name of this card, the technique. So I don't know, I don't really have a name for it, but we're just going to play with it, and I'll show you what it looks like, and then maybe you can help me with what the name of this technique is, or I don't know, maybe we can create a name for it. I did not think of it though. All right, so what it is a 2 inch by 5.5, oop, I better measure just to make sure. 5.5 by 2 inches. I think what I did was I scored 1/4 inch on the left side, and then I flipped it around and I did 1/4 inch on the left side again. And then I went every 1/2 inch all the way down. I'm not going to read all of these, but it's just 1/4 inch on both sides and a 1/2 inch all in between. All right, so I made my dots so I could get started. Once you get the pattern started, it'll be easier to figure out how to do this. So the first little dot is just at that first score line, so just down 1/4 inch. Then what I did was I cut a bunch of strips 1/2 inch in width, and I think this is just 6 inch. I just cut it the full length. This is actually our Brights Designer Series paper. It comes in 6x6 paper, and this print will be retiring. So this you might want to grab while you can because it will be gone, and the new Designer Series paper for all the color families will be a different print than this. So if you like this print, you may want to grab it now. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to put glue on the back of this, and we are going to start at the first little dot that I put here at 1/4 inch, and we're going to put the bottom corner on that dot, and then the second dot is going to be on the second score line here. So we're just going to make a line from that dot, but we want all of the white to be covered up. So make sure you have it over that corner there. So it's going to go off the page a little bit. So from that corner down to this corner, and just leave the extra hanging there. All right, now the next one we're going to do is we're going to do the exact same thing, but we are going to go down to this corner is on that dot, and then the bottom corner is on this dot. And you can see that as we do this, we are going to leave the same gap every time we do this. So this is, I'm guessing, a 1/2 inch gap. So let's add glue on this one. We probably could even just put it on here too, but so from that corner down to this one, and I don't have to put dots on all of them. I just wanted to make sure I got started the right way. Whoopsie. That's the nice thing about this glue is you can move it a little bit. I want to make sure I cover up the pencil lines. Okay, now we're going to do that again. Another strip. We're going to leave that same gap, go that same corner down to this bottom corner, and you can see that the gap is the same. Now, I only cut 3 strips because I think that's all I need. So what I'm gonna do is just flip this over, and you're gonna wanna trim all these edges so that they meet the basic white cardstock, and that's gonna leave you with some fresh new strips. Now the next thing we're going to do is, you can still see those score lines in there, but they are going to be covered up because we are going to use a coordinating cardstock, which is one of the other sides from the same designer series paper. Again, this is the Coastal Cabana little slice here. And what we're going to do this time is we are going to start in this corner up here, and we're going to go right on top of that, and we are going to match this up so that the top of these two line up, and then the bottom is going to go like that right over there. So we're going to do the same thing and just line up these strips like we did before. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to adhere this to the black cardstock. This is 5.5 by 2 1/8, and we're just going to glue that on with our liquid glue. And do you see how all those score lines are covered up by the designer series paper? That is really a cool look, I think. It's kind of like a basket weave. We could call it a basket weave card. I don't know. Just center that. All right, now we can add this to our card front. And what we're going to do is pop this up. So I would say the placement of this would be towards the left, and it's going to be right on top of that. I might have to trim the top off a little bit. I can see that it might go over just a tiny bit, but let me pop this up first, and then we will decide if we need to trim some more. So I'm going to use my black dimensionals this time. I like to use these when I use basic black cardstock. I promise I did not plan my nails to match this card, but sometimes when you have favorite colors, they show up in all different forms, on your clothes, on your nails, on your walls in your craft room, on many of your cards. And we're just gonna, I'm gonna line up the bottom first, and then if I need to trim it down a little bit on top, I will. All right. And it's just a tiny bit over, so I'm gonna use my larger scissors. They're bigger for bigger areas, and just trim that off. It won't affect the front at all. Okay. All right, so we are getting closer. This is what your card is going to look like so far. Now we need to decorate the front of this. The next thing we're going to do is we are going to stamp on this, and we are going to use the online exclusive stamp sets called Softly Said. I love this stamp set because the fonts are so large in this, and they have kind of a shadow look to them when you stamp, so it's lighter in some areas and darker in others, and it's just so pretty. So we're going to start by stamping in Coastal Cabana, and we'll do Thinking of You, and just stamp that in the middle. And then the next time, we're going to stamp it in a different color. Let me wipe this off quick on my chamois, and we are going to take Memento Black and get that inked up nice and well. This is going to give it a nice dark look, but what I want to do is just offset it a tiny bit. It's almost like you're going to try to line it up on top, but you just want it off a little bit. So I'm going to aim for close to the center of it, but just off a little bit. And you see how it'll make just kind of a little shadow there, so you can see both colors. All right, now I'm going to die cut this using our Stylish Shape. And this is the one that fits really close. It's kind of a tight fit, but this one is about 2.5 inches. So let me quick cut this, and I will be right back. I lied on the size of this. When I went over to die cut it, I could see that the one I told you was too small. So it's actually the next largest one, which I believe is the largest one in the die set for the circles, and it's actually 3 inches. All right, so we are going to put this on right here, just nice and low and offset, and we are going to use dimensionals on this. And I don't really need my black ones for this, so we'll just use regular ones. 3 should do it. There we go. Make sure you don't go off the page if you want it to fit in the envelope. And you can still see our nice little basket weave print underneath that gives some interest. The only thing it's lacking now is maybe some little matte dots or a bow, or maybe both. So I think what I'm going to start with is the bow, and I'm going to reach for our black and white checked ribbon, and this is going to be discontinued. So if you love this ribbon, which I love because it goes with everything, and you could do either black and white, which would look great here, or if you want to, you know, use blends. We don't have a Coastal Cabana blend. We do have Pool Party though, but I'm going to try my Stampin' Right marker because I do have one of those. I sure wish they would come out with Coastal Cabana blends, but this will work as well, and it's just the brush end of your marker. These come in a family though, and it bleeds through. So do you like the Coastal Cabana or just the black and white? I think in this case I prefer just black and white. So I'm gonna grab my ribbon holder. You can see it says Cozy Craft Retreat, Lori. I always make it a personalized item in my Cozy Craft Retreat, which, speaking of, signups are going to be, well, signups aren't until May, but I am going to have a save the date. And this retreat usually sells out pretty fast. Last year it sold out in 20 minutes, so I will definitely keep you posted when you can sign up for that. And this is a bow maker that my husband made, although the base we bought at a craft store, and then he drilled all the holes. He had this cute little template up, and he worked so many hours. He was in our living room actually doing this, and he had the goggles on, and then I had a local gal who does wood engraving do that part of it. So that was one of the gifts that we gave that was included in the retreat. And it just makes bow tying really fast and easy. All right, so let's put this on our card front, and I'm going to grab a mini glue dot here. Whoopsie. I don't even have one of our current ones. I'm using an old one that was in my stash here. And I like things offset a little bit, so let's put it a little bit to the left side like that. And you know what? Maybe we don't even need some dots. I'm not sure if I even have any Coastal Cabana. Let me check quick. I guess I do. I think these might be Pool Party though, but they match close enough, and they are in our current catalogs. Let me grab my pick tool here. And I like to work in threes. I'll just fill in some of that. There we go. All right, there you have it. Very simple, and I love the kind of the different stamping here to offset a little bit and make it stand out even more and just add some more interest to it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you will shop with me when it comes to online shopping. Remember, if you're in person, I do classes in my home, 4 classes a month, and I also do online card club, which the deadline is on Wednesday. So make sure you sign up by April 10th, and the bundle that we're going to use is called Filled with Fun. And also, don't forget, I have a cruise coming up in 2025, and so we will be sailing the Caribbean, February of 2025. Thank you so much, and happy shopping, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everyone.